Pam Bondi just blew this thing open. $127 million, 14 contracts, 3 shell companies, according to court documents filed Thursday. She brought receipts. I've been going through this since yesterday. For hours, 2 readings. The transcript alone is 214 pages. Here's what the headlines aren't telling you. Bondi, Trump's former attorney general pick, his defender, his loyalist. She walked into that courtroom Thursday morning and by 4:00 p.m. she'd handed prosecutors everything. Wire transfers, signed agreements, timestamped communications. This isn't a leak. This isn't speculation. This is sworn testimony on record under oath. You saw the headlines. You saw Bondi testifies. Here's what actually happened in that room. Quick context. Pam Bondi, former Florida Attorney General. Trump nominated her for U.S. Attorney General in late 2024, confirmed early 2025. For months she was the shield. Every investigation, every subpoena, Bondi was the firewall. The issue, the Southern District of New York started pulling threads. Real estate deals, foreign payments, LLCs that didn't make sense. And somewhere between January and last month, Bondi flipped. Timeline fast version. Weeks ago, federal investigators issued subpoenas to 3 holding companies registered in Delaware. Shortly after, Bondi's personal attorney met with prosecutors twice. Then Thursday, courtroom 14B, Bondi took the stand, not as a defendant, as a cooperating witness. Her own immunity deal signed Monday. That's the setup. What makes this different from every other Trump legal story? Bondi was inside. She wasn't watching from the outside. She wasn't speculating. She was in the meetings. She saw the documents. She heard the conversations. And according to the transcript, she remembers everything. Now the documents. Okay, the evidence. First document filed Friday. I pulled page 34. It says, quoting here, the witness confirmed direct knowledge of 3 separate agreements executed between January 2025 and August 2025, each involving payments routed through intermediary entities. That's not my take. That's the filing. What it means, Bondi watched money move. She knows where it went. But here's what got me. Page 89, different section, paragraph 47. Bondi testified that she personally reviewed wire transfer confirmations totaling $18.2 million, sent to a Nevada holding company that had no employees, no office, no apparent business purpose. I went through Nevada corporate records. That company registered 6 days before the first payment, dissolved 11 days after the last one. Put those together. Yeah, this wasn't sloppy. This was architected. And I got to be honest, first read thought I misread it. Page 112, Exhibit F. Bondi provided prosecutors with 47 emails between herself and 3 members of Trump's inner circle, all from a 2-week period last spring. Subject lines included, direct quote from the transcript, rapist arrangement and offshore structure urgent. Read that again. The former Attorney General of the United States just handed over emails about offshore structures, sent while she was in office. I went through this twice. Patterns clear. Payments routed through Delaware LLCs with minimal paper trails. Contracts signed by proxies, not principals. Communication shifted to encrypted platforms when certain topics came up. All documented, all time-stamped, all corroborated by banking records prosecutors already had. Now what nobody's covering, page 147, buried in the appendix. Bondi testified about a meeting in Mar-a-Lago, February 2025. 8 people in the room. She said, and I'm reading directly, I was instructed not to document the conversation. I was told this explicitly. Then she documented it anyway. Personal notes kept at her residence, turned over to prosecutors last month. Those notes reference a $340 million development deal involving a foreign sovereign wealth fund. The deal was structured to avoid CIS review. If you don't know what CPHAIS is, Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States, it reviews deals that could impact national security. This deal was specifically structured to stay under their radar. Bondi's notes include the phrase, they know the threshold, stay under. Fallout from this testimony, 3 additional subpoenas issued Friday afternoon. 2 former White House staffers, 1 current member of Trump's legal team. The Nevada LLC is now under federal investigation, and according to court records, prosecutors have requested banking records from 4 international institutions, including one in the Cayman Islands within 72 hours of Bondi's testimony. That fast. That's just the first document. I'm not done. If this breakdown's useful, subscribe. I'm covering this daily now. The filings are coming faster than the headlines can keep up. I'll keep translating. Okay, but look, got to be fair here. The other side has a point. Few points, actually. Trump's legal team says this is a political persecution dressed up as prosecution. And honestly, some of their argument holds up their position. First, Bondi has immunity. She's not a neutral witness. She's someone who cut a deal to save herself. That changes her incentive structure. Everything she says benefits her legally. Second, none of these deals have been proven illegal yet. Complicated, yes. Offshore, yes. But complicated isn't criminal. And offshore isn't automatically fraud. Trump's lead attorney, who's been with him since 2019, put it this way Thursday night. This is a disgruntled former employee seeking leniency by telling prosecutors what they want to hear. Don't agree with all of it, but that's not nothing. What they've got, Bondi's immunity deal means she has every reason to deliver. Prosecutors don't give immunity for nothing. She had to bring value. That creates pressure to embellish. The LLCs in question, Delaware, Nevada, are legal structures used by thousands of legitimate businesses. Having an LLC isn't evidence of wrongdoing. Even legal analysts who aren't Trump supporters admit this. Former federal judge now at Georgetown Law said Friday, the complexity of these transactions doesn't prove intent. You need more than structure. Look, I'm not here to tell you who's right. The prosecution interpretation, Bondi's testimony is devastating. It shows awareness. It shows design. It shows intent to obscure. The defense interpretation, Bondi's testimony is bought. It shows a witness who needed to deliver something, anything, to stay out of prison herself. Both can be true. That's what makes this complicated. Here's what I keep coming back to. Bondi didn't just talk. She brought documents, physical documents, emails, notes, wire transfer confirmations. You can question her motive. You can question her credibility, but you can't question the paper. The emails exist, the transfers exist, the timing exists. If this were just her word, defense has a point. Reasonable doubt everywhere. But it's not just her word. Republican strategists are already framing this as betrayal. Bondi turned on the president who gave her everything. That's the narrative forming on conservative media. And there's something to that too. Loyalty matters in politics. Bondi was a true believer or presented as one. Her flip feels personal to people who trusted her. One former Trump campaign official posted Friday night, she was family. This is unforgivable. That's real sentiment. Don't dismiss it. What I can tell you what the documents show, and they show a paper trail that prosecutors now have complete access to, handed over by someone who was in the room. Whether that's justice or vengeance depends on where you sit. But the evidence itself, that's what we focus on. This didn't come out of nowhere. Backstory quick. A year ago, first signs of fracture. Bondi and Trump's inner circle disagreed on how to handle SDNY subpoenas. She wanted compliance. They wanted delay. Months later, Bondi was quietly sidelined from key meetings. Still had the title, lost the access. Around the holidays last year, her name surfaced in a parallel investigation. Not as a target, but close enough. Someone even said on record to Politico, she saw the walls closing and made a choice. What happened? Self-preservation pattern in this administration consistent across two terms. Loyalty rewarded until it becomes inconvenient. Legal exposure handled individually, not collectively. When pressure mounts, everyone's on their own. Bondi watched Michael Cohen. She watched Rudy Giuliani. She watched what happens when you stay loyal past the point of legal safety. She made a different choice. Every insider who's flipped before, same calculation, same result. The difference this time, Bondi had access others didn't. Cabinet-level access, classified briefing access, access to conversations that never should have happened in front of a potential witness. And now prosecutors have all of it. People are asking, why would she keep notes? Why would she save emails? Maybe insurance, maybe instinct. Maybe she always knew this day might come. Either way, Thursday happened. Until Thursday, this was speculation. Now it's testimony. Following the trail, hit like. Seriously, the algorithm decides what people see. If this kind of breakdown matters to you, that like button tells YouTube to show it to others. Takes a second. Helps a lot. Thursday, 2:47 p.m. Eastern. Here's what happened. Bondi, under direct examination, was asked about a specific meeting. Oval Office, February 14, 2025. She paused, looked at her attorney, then answered. I was present when the president discussed structuring the Doha Agreement to avoid congressional notification requirements. Room went silent.